What are some of the strategies you would use to improve apprentice retention as well for apprentice recruitment?
I believe that apprentices that are struggling should feel welcome to come to my office at any time to discuss issues that's important to them. If they feel the apprenticeship coordinator cannot, or the apprenticeship committee cannot handle the problems they're facing, they can come to me and I can work with them to encourage them to stay in. If they're having problems, whether they're having problems on the job or they're having problems at school. We're also seeing apprentices wanting to quit and get into other crafts or go rat altogether. That's detrimental for our growth. We need to keep as many in as we have, because as my generation is approaching retirement, it's going to be more difficult to keep people in this type of work.
With the apprentice recruitment, right now I know that you have so many, they only take in so many apprentices a year. And there's way more people that apply for those spots. One thing that I don't feel right with is you say you have 50 new apprentices and you have 250 apply. Well, then you're telling 200 other people that they have to go somewhere else and work. So basically you're sending them right to the non-union side. So I would like to be able to implement something to retain all 250.
We're already more or less, we interview I don't say we because I'm not on the committee, but the committee interviews with hundreds of applicants and they only offered 50. So with that being said, what I've never understood is that there are 300 people that came to you interested in being in the electrical industry. You only took 50. The other 250 you dumped in a barrel, you shuck it up and you dumped it outside. Like, why aren't you guys reaching back out to them? Because you have all their contact information. You know their names. You know their address. You know, like, they've done the aptitude test. You know, like, maybe he's just not a good reader. He's not good at math. It's like, we already have this robust system to actually recruit apprentices. All we got to do is keep our hands on the freaking people that come to our door. To me, it is that simple. It's like, if you got 300 applicants, you give 50, but guess what? The other 250, hey, we need some CWs. Would you like to come back and join as a CW? This is what the path looks like for you. But they don't do that.
You'd have to enhance the CW program along the way, right?
Oh my God. So you mean actually just make everybody a freaking apprentice? Well, and that throws off the market recovery aspect of the agreement. But I mean, there's a way to do it. I think the online blended learning system or the online curriculum to me is probably the way to do that. Is that if they're CWs, then maybe they're not required to come to class. But if they keep up with the online coursework, let's say you had 10 apprentices that failed, well, I got 10 CWs waiting to come in. So like we always have 50 topping out at every time. To me, that makes sense. But you just keep people more flexible. And that's the hardest thing about working with these big structures is that the checks and balances are crazy, right? So you can't just decide to do something without running up the chain, and then it's like you got to get all this approval to make what we think are common sense steps. So the size of the organization keeps it from being nimble, but it also keeps it from more or less swaying in the middle of storms at the same time. So I mean, it's a good thing and a rough thing at the same time. So it's great because it's able to withstand like big stressors, but it's also tough in that it's not very agile. Is that it can change direction and pivot according to the market and what's going on.
Okay.
But to me, that's how I would do it. I would definitely keep up with every person that applies and offer them an opportunity to get into the program if somebody fails a class, or then, hell, if we only got 30 people, let's start another class with another 20. Well, we're going to bring in 20 in July. Well, Bring in 20 freaking people and teach them. You know what I mean? That's your only job, is to teach apprentices. You know what I mean? So, like, why is it so hard to do? It doesn't matter what time of the year it is. Bring kids in, or young people in, teach them the trade. If you can put them to work, great. Then they're apprentices. If you can't put them to work, don't bring them in. You know? Or keep those people on hand so that, if we need some CWs, well, we got 250 of them over here. Let's give them a call. I hate this. Like they sit back and, well, they ought to be coming to us for an opportunity. We're struggling for market share here. It's not the non-union isn't knocking on our door to get apprentices. You know what I'm saying? So if you're looking at it, the big picture is like, if there are 8,000 electricians in Nashville and we're only about 2,200 of them, there's a lot of freaking people out there doing electrical work. Why do we want to keep more people just going away from our door? If we can redirect them in any way, I think it's got to be worth a shot.
Well, I know we actually, not too long ago, made some changes in that area. They increased the start out pay. I don't know what can change in that regard. So I would have to see what can be done before I make a commitment to make any kind of change in that area. I do feel like from back when I was in that the apprenticeship retention rate seems to be higher now. I know they've changed around some classes, some of the ones that caused people to fail out. And I know we lost a lot of good electricians back then. Some have since come back. They served their time, tested out, avoided the classes. I'm glad to see that they've made some changes to some of those classes, but yeah, without really knowing all of that, I know Tadpole and Stephen Hall real well. I don't see any reason why we couldn't get together, put our heads together on something, and come to a solution.
Well, I've already talked a little bit about apprentice retention, I think, but apprentice recruitment, I think that we need to be hitting the high schools hard. There are so many people that do not realize. I'm going to tell you what, if you go onto Google and you type in the average salary or average yearly income for a wireman, it comes up as like 50,000. I don't know a single wireman that is making that. That's, so people don't know. If you have these kids in school and they're typing this in, they're going, I can't live on that. Nobody can live on that. And I got to go through 4 years to be able to do that. We've got to let people know what we offer. The fact that I could today say, you know what? I don't want to work for the next 6 months. I just want to chill out and sit by the river. Well, I may be broke, but I'm still going to have health insurance for that 6 months because I've banked it. That's a big deal. That's a very big deal. And we need to be letting these young people know that while they are learning, they're earning. They're making money. And good money. Once you get out of those first couple of years, good money. And we've got to hit the high schools hard for retention. We have got to start paying attention to what each individual student is getting and not getting out of their apprenticeship, because it is still too uneven. It is just uneven, and that has to be addressed. So, because we don't want to lose people. We don't want to lose people. We need our apprentices, and we need them to become JWs.
That's more of an intent to look into it because, like I said, I've never been close enough to know the inner workings of the JTC. I know a little bit about it, but first we find what the problem is as far as the retention. If it's an attitude problem, if it's a math skill problem, and I think we need to aim our sights at higher higher levels. I think we need to be in every high school. I think we need to have every guidance counselor's number on speed dial. I think we need to be talking with the guidance counselors because even they are starting to realize they can't send everybody to college. And we have something that was it wasn't promoted to me in school, or I would have definitely been through JATC.
That really starts with the apprentices. They see them 2 nights a week, and I think a conversation with all the other brothers and sisters down there. Recruitment really hasn't been an issue. I know the apprenticeship goes to high schools quite often. I believe we had 200 applicants for this next tech math class, and we had 60 spots. So if that tells you anything about recruitment, I mean, we're definitely getting interested folks.